Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us. My name is Tommy Matthews from Be Military Fit, and we have Jan Spaticchia here joining us today for this webinar on unleashing the fitness industry through franchising. I'm going to hand straight over to Jan to start off this quick 20-minute presentation, and at the end we'll field some questions if you have any, so please drop them in the Q&A for us. So we'll get started straight away, and I'll hand over to Jan, who does appear on the screen as Tommy Matthews, so there aren't two Tommys, there is definitely one Tommy and one Jan. So here we go.
As you probably just heard, I've told Tommy this is what he'll look like when he's half a century old too. So I'm Jan Spaticchia. I am the Vice Chair of Be Military Fit. Very proud to be here today. I've been in the fitness and franchising sector for some 20 years. Most recently, I built a company called Energy Fitness, which became the foremost, largest and most rapidly growing fitness franchise in the UK, with around 110 clubs, 130,000 members and a 30 million network turnover. I sold that business late last year and joined BMF as their vice chairman, and now work with Tommy and colleagues in order to build a fantastic outdoor fitness business, which allows you to unleash fitness at much, much lower capital costs. We'll tell you more about the business, but what we're actually going to do is tell you a little about our philosophy of why people start businesses and how you can do it with a lot less risk. I'm very privileged that I speak all over the world at keynote conferences on subjects of entrepreneurship. I'm invited to talk to people who are either in business, looking to grow, or are looking to start a business and maybe sack the boss, and for the first time run a business for their own benefits rather than others. I call this session the E factor. You know, the question, very simple: entrepreneurs, are they born or made? Do you have to be born an entrepreneur, or can you be made that way? If you just click forward, Tommy. And that question has been a burning question for me for pretty much all of my life. Can you be born that way, or do you have to be made? The gentleman on the screen, I'm guessing you might recognise him as Richard Branson. I would often ask in my seminars, you know, born or made? Is this guy born that way, or was he made that way? I think entrepreneurs often like to convince you that they've got magic in their fingertips and they just fire lasers and things happen. And the reality is, I'm not entirely sure about that. I'll take Richard Branson as a good case in point. Branson, I believe, was born that way. I'll give you evidence from his first book, brilliantly titled Losing My Virginity. And Branson is well known to now be a millionaire, billionaire, sorry, but always aspired to be a millionaire. At age 8, he was breeding budgies and selling them for profit. And by age 9, he was growing Christmas trees and selling them into the local community. He was starting businesses from very, very early on. And yes, he was born into a family of privilege. However, he always had that entrepreneurial spark, mainly from his mum. Branson was famously told at age 14 by his housemaster, "Branson, you'll either be a millionaire or you'll go to prison." And he's pretty proud of the fact that he did both, albeit he only spent a couple of nights in jail for tax evasion, which I should note he paid back. But Branson, I would argue, always born that way. In contrast, if you look at this second image, I'm guessing you would recognise Bill Gates, or I sometimes wonder if it is Bill Gates or Harry Potter. It could be either, certainly separated at birth. But Bill Gates, born or made? Well, this time I would argue made. Gates wasn't like Branson. He never had that fire in his belly to build businesses. He built tech. He was a self-confessed geek, born at a time and born in a place where he found himself on the nose cone of a rocket. He was in that early tech industry where we saw PCs become popularized. And unlike Branson, it was not about the money for Gates. It was about inventing something that could be spread globally. And interestingly, both of them were successful, but in different ways. Gates, interestingly, was born and was working in the same time as a young entrepreneur called Steve Jobs, who you'll know about, the founder of Macintosh. And interestingly, two totally different characters. Jobs, much more like Branson, I would argue born that way. It was all about the kill, it was all about the deal, it was all about business growth. It was about total and utter control, vertical integration, controlling the hardware, the software, even the music. But with Gates, it was about open source. It was being able to spread it wide and far. Both entrepreneurs both very wealthy, both very successful, but came from completely different walks of life. And in order to make my point, I have to show you a picture that maybe is one that is familiar to you, which is what it looks like when you really think about starting a business. It's pretty scary. I know this is the 5th business that I've been in, and I've had 4 of my own. And I've not always been successful. I've made mistakes, I've grazed my knees, I've had to get up again. But always when you start a business, it's a pretty scary thing to do. And many people feel that they've got it in them to start a business, but don't really know how to go about it. They fear the risk. There's obviously risk in all businesses, and it's about controlling the downside of that risk. So I suppose the question is, how do you turn this feeling, when you think about for the first time sacking the boss, to this feeling? And the feeling that you can see now on the screen is one of exhilaration, one of excitement, one of that fire in your belly that you can actually build a business that's your very own. I started a business last year for £30 million. I never thought I could do that. I never had confidence in myself to do that. But I found through trial and error and learning and working with good people and surrounding myself with people that were much more clever and much more intelligent than I was able to build a business that makes my family now secure and not have to worry about how you make that breakthrough. But I would say that over the period that I've been building businesses, there are 3 really important lessons that I've learned. The first one is actually about making the break. When is the time? When do you make that choice to make the break? I suppose you'd be expecting me at this point to say, now is the time, you should make that break now. But actually, I can't really tell you. You will know. What I can tell you is this. I've met and worked with thousands of entrepreneurs, and every entrepreneur that makes the break hears a voice. They hear a voice it's a familiar voice. It's one that you've heard before. It's just there up on your shoulder, and it whispers in your ear when not to do something and when to do something. And often that voice is a voice that makes you feel very comforted by the fact that you are making the right decision. It's your subconscious. It's that voice that has always served you well whenever you've made the big decisions in your life. Well, I would say that if you hear that voice when you're looking at a franchise opportunity, that's fantastic. You should follow your instinct. But if you don't, keep looking. There are literally thousands of franchise opportunities. And franchising has all of the benefits of starting your own business, the idea that you're in charge, it's your dream, the benefits of building capital wealth for your own, for you and your family and the people that you love. But franchising offers the opportunity to do that with far less of the risk. Tommy will share with you some statistics about how many businesses that are started in the UK every day that fail within 12 months. He'll also show you some statistics about how many businesses in the franchise format fail in the first 12 months. And it's quite a stark difference. What I would say to you is that franchising gives you all the benefits of starting a business, but without many of the risks that you have to take when you're starting on your own. So when to make the break, it's difficult to say. All I can tell you is this. My wife and I lost our daughter to cancer when she was 19. She was a talented dancer. We miss her every day. And my wife and I had so many dreams for our daughter. She was following in her mother's footsteps. And at 19, she was taken from us. And I promised that day that every entrepreneur that I work with, in whatever format I work with them on, I'll always tell them to follow their dreams and listen to their own voice. That will always serve you well. If you go on to the next question that I asked myself and I've learned from it, it's about finding your niche. Find something that puts fire in your belly. When you start a business, a franchise business in particular, you're going to live with it for 5 to maybe 10 years. It's going to be something that's in your everyday, and you're going to be living with that business day in, day out. So it's no good just finding something you think's okay. I've worked in the fitness business for the last 20 years because I love the fact that in fitness, we empower people to transform their lives. And that's something that really excites me. I couldn't get excited about selling beef burgers or chicken. Some people do. And so for me, it's about finding a niche that puts fire in your belly and gets you out of bed every morning thinking, I'm doing something that I love. And the final thing that I would say, and this is my segue into handing over to Tommy, is anybody that believes that they can do it, anybody that believes that they can sack the boss, anybody that believes that job stands for just over broke, you only just make enough money to pay the bills from last month, and anybody that has a dream to make themselves financially independent, you've got it in you. And there is absolutely no doubt, no matter what anybody tells you, entrepreneurs can be born and they can also be made. Tommy, over to you.
Thank you, Jan. So I'm going to go straight into why franchising within the fitness industry. And over the last 20 years of being in business myself and working for other businesses, I've been able to develop some of the world's leading programs and fitness experiences. It's been a great opportunity with BMF for me to be able to create something unique within this franchise industry. And franchising is, I think, still quite new within the fitness industry. In fact, in the UK, really, it's only really taken off in the last 5 years. Jan had mentioned that he's been involved in a number of businesses, and Energy Fitness, one of his, spearheaded really franchising in the UK. Yes, in the US, it's certainly been something that has been around for some time, but we're seeing this growth. And actually, interestingly, we're seeing more franchise businesses in the UK now grow quickly and rapidly in the fitness industry, rather than owner-operated businesses. And I believe there's some reasons why that is. The power of a local owner, the power of a local owner that understands the community that they're working with, that's able to react to that community. The power of that person being able to own their own business and support their members and look after their members. Because the fitness industry is no longer a commodity. It's not like a product anymore. It's an experience. And this experience is what our consumer or our member is looking for and searching for. And often in the fitness industry, they sadly get let down. They get let down by poor service. They get let down by people who don't really care. And when you turn a business into a franchise business, you suddenly see the change and the shift in that person from an employee to a franchise owner, to a business owner, to somebody that actually cares about their members and cares about making a difference. Why? Because their money. It's their money that they're going to be getting at the end of the month. So we at BMF have actually seen a huge, incredible transition in our local owners, because previously our business 2 years ago was an owner-operated business. And thanks to the help and support of people like Jan, we've transitioned this company into a hugely successful, fast-growing franchise company within the last 2 years. So this presentation was also about the trends in fitness, and we wanted to give you some information about what is the latest trend and how you can get hold of that latest trend and how you could capitalize on it. It might be with BMF, it might not be. And whichever you decide to go for, then we wish you good luck. But what I'd like to cover now is the trends. Is the latest trend high intensity interval training? Is it yoga? Is it wearable tech perhaps and the latest technology? Or is it this newfound thing called digital training where everybody trains at home and everybody is able to access the latest workout with a great instructor on their phone or their computer? Well, there's lots of other potential trends out there, but the truth is it's none of those. The real trend at the moment is actually community. And it's a very, very difficult thing to achieve. And it's something that many fitness operators have been searching for a long time now, and they just can't quite achieve it. Why? Because it's not a product. Community is not something you buy. Community is not something that you pick off the shelf. Community is created over years of development of creating a brand, a strong brand, and creating a loyal following. The secrets behind creating a strong community, and I'll give you two, I don't want to share too many, but the two secrets that we really work on within our product are creating a community or creating a product which allows people to be friends, create friendships, create new friendships. So friendship is a huge part of growing that community. And as you start to grow that community, the next secret is about keeping the door open. If you keep the door open, you can allow new people to come into that community and build friendships with those people who are already part of it. Those two key secrets are the key to building strong communities within fitness. And as you will see within all of the large fitness chains, the big owner-operated chains and some of the big franchise chains, where there is no community, there's no friendships. In fact, it's something that gets me quite a lot, actually, and it has done for the last 20 years, how a fitness club can call themselves a club. A club is somewhere where there's a community. It's where everybody knows each other by their first name. It's somewhere where people go to relax, somewhere where people go to have their leisure time, their sports time. And arguably for me, most of those large health club chains, they don't offer any of that. In fact, they don't offer a community at all. They offer a DIY fitness service. Whereas creating a community where someone belongs to and wants to stick with it for many, many years is created through friendships and bonds with those instructors or those local franchise owners. And that is also the power of franchising, when a local franchisee can create their community. And now, more importantly than ever, we can talk about the importance of diversity. Maybe before, people were purely focused on one specific product, one specific brand trend, one specific program or workout, whereas now we're instantly seeing the need for a diverse offer. The importance of being able to train at home, the importance of being able to access a workout when you want to access it, training for all of the family, older and younger, personal training, group training. All of these different facets within our business are hugely important now to creating a sustainable business model which can ride the waves. And those waves can come from things like an international pandemic or perhaps a new trend coming into the industry. Trends come in and out of our industry all the time. I've been involved for 20 years and I've seen lots of trends. The truth is, the body hasn't changed much in the last 2 million years. Homo erectus, 2 million years ago, he decided to stand up off 4 onto 2, and we haven't really done much since then. So the latest fitness product or the latest fitness program is not going to change the world. What's going to change the world in fitness is creating that strong community and a diverse offer which keeps your members within that community for a longer period of time. And that's why at BMF, this is a tried and tested system which we're immensely proud of. And due to this pandemic, in fact, it's actually accelerated the way we offer this service, offering on-demand classes at the touch of a button where you can get a fitness workout at home, offering two-way workouts where we can stream a workout to people in Sydney or New York or San Diego, which we're doing right now with 60 classes a day from our instructors, delivering those fitness sessions to communities all over the world, but also working with their current communities. And then having a diverse offer, which allows us to operate indoor, outdoor, in green spaces, in iconic urban locations. This gives us a unique proposition which attracts a broad group of members. And that broad group of members ensures that we create a member experience for everyone. And it's that member experience which is what attracts so many people to this offer. The power of a local owner, the quality program and workouts, which give you a great experience, and the ability to attract all different demographics, not just focusing on one specific unique demographic and going after the trends. So my advice to you all is to ensure that you look at the offer and make sure that it's sustainable. Make sure it's something that's going to last the time. Make sure it's something that's going to be able to ride the waves, whether those waves come from something so horrific like the last 3 months in the UK with the pandemic, or whether it comes from the new trends or the latest trend or the latest workout. So that member experience and that community is really what drives membership growth. It's really what makes our franchisees so successful. And during a period of time where many other operators have had to close their doors, what's been really interesting is that we've actually generated sales. We've generated member sales over the last 3 months. But I'm pretty sure this is correct, that we are the only fitness company in the UK that's actually been selling memberships in the last 3 months. Quite a unique situation to be in. And it was the power of our local owners and that franchise network which ensured that when we did go into lockdown and we transferred our whole business into an online business, 82% of our members stuck with us. They continued to pay their memberships, which is an incredible result, an incredible statistic. Whereas the majority of those large fitness chains closed their doors and put their memberships on hold or on freeze. In our situation, like many other franchise businesses that grow, as Jan said, those stats, one of the key stats which is really important here, which is key for franchise businesses, is that 26% of startup companies fail within the first 13 months. Whereas in the franchise business, if you operate within a franchise business, it's only 2%. And that demonstrates that using a tried and tested system, which we know that works, gives you all the tools, the know-how, and the experience and the business system to operate successfully. So that's a little bit about why we believe franchising is so successful in the fitness industry. And now more than ever, it's important to be in touch with your local community, to be able to react to the needs and requirements of that local community, to have the power in your hands, but backed by a strong brand that's able to deliver great results for you. And that's something that BMF have done incredibly well over the last 2 years, and we're really proud to be involved in the franchise world now. And if you'd like to get any more information about our franchise offer, you can see some details here on how to register for our webinars. Usually, Jan and I would be standing up in person talking to 20 to 30 people in a room, spending 4 hours on a discovery day with them. Unfortunately, at the moment, we're not able to do that. But we've turned our business to an online business, we've turned our discovery days into online. So you can join us on one of our webinars. You can meet with us and ask us questions, and we'll present to you the full BMF franchise offer, what it means, what you get, and what you can achieve from it. So we'd love to hear from you, and we'd love you to join one of those webinars. I'm going to be at the IFS convention today for the next couple of hours, I believe. And I'll be taking calls and taking messages, so you can join the chat or join the video call system if you like, and I'll be here to take your questions. But we have 8 minutes before I think we're going to get kicked off the webinar, and we wanted to leave about 10 just so we could answer some questions from yourselves. So Jan's back in the room now. Jan, welcome back. And
Thank you.
I just thought we'd start here with the question from Aidan, which is, what is the biggest challenge for your franchisees? Well, I'll start with that for now. I think the biggest challenge for our franchisees at the moment, Aidan, is their ability to keep things new and keep things vibrant and exciting, because training at home has been difficult. I can't say it's all been easy, but it has been a great learning experience for us. And what we've done is make sure that we've wrapped up even more offering and more service for our franchisees, so for our members, to enhance their member experience even more. That's specific to this period of time right now. The biggest challenges for our franchisees in general, when they're in normal operating situations, when they're operating outdoors or in one of our urban training locations, we do very well at retaining our members. We also do very well at converting our members. In fact, our simple membership process is getting people into the pipeline, and over 80% of our members who trial one of our sessions become a member, which is a really high stat. And most of our members stick with us for over 13 months. Some of our members have been with us for 20 years. But I think the challenges that our franchisees experience would be being on their own sometimes. And being on their own as a franchisee, training outdoors sometimes can be a lonely experience. Some of our bigger franchisees have a group of instructors who work with them. But the way we've combated that kind of loneliness, I guess, is by creating a network. And that network is something where people bounce off each other now, and they get to do that digitally online at the moment. But we have a network of people which can come in and support those franchisees who are struggling. So I would say that would be our biggest challenge, and that's how we've managed to get over it. Jan, is there anything else you could add?
Yeah, if I can add to that, Tommy, I suppose the other thing is, in many franchises, there's a lack of, there's a real barrier to entry. You know, building a fitness club could cost you £500,000. Actually, the way we work out in outdoor and urban spaces, everybody seems to think they can do it. It seems so easy. All you have to do is find a park and away you go. The reality is very, very different. And sometimes communicating that and making sure that the Great British public understand the difference that we offer. A good example would be BMF has just recently, last week, been awarded a contract with the NHS. We're very proud of this. It's a pilot project, but it means that we're going to be working with the NHS in order to help with rehabilitation for people that have had COVID. So this is a hugely important project for the government, and they're entrusting that to BMF. That differentiates us from every single outdoor fitness operator out there. And there are many other initiatives like that that show our credentials. One example would be the outdoor standards for working out with social distancing were written by UK Active, but the member of UK Active that wrote them was BMF. And so we are very well regarded, even revered within the fitness sector for being the experts in outdoor space. I noticed there's a question from an anonymous attendee about the statistics that I shared earlier. You'll find those statistics in the NatWest and BFA, British Franchise Association, survey on franchising. Those statistics have been the same for some 15 years. You've always had a absolute double digit into the 20s failure rate of independent businesses, and a under 3 to 4. At the moment, it's 2% failure rate within franchising. It's no big surprise if you think about it. The BFA supports all of the people in the UK that create systems that have been proven. And when you create a proven system, it works every time. Of course, you can break a proven system by not following it. But people that are trying to start their businesses for the first time off their own backs, I applaud them. But I also would say they're taking more risk than is necessary. So the statistics are in the annual NatWest and BFA report.
Aidan, you're asking again about another question here. What's our biggest priority at the moment? Well, 3 months ago, our biggest priority was turning our business into an at-home offer. We did it overnight, within 24 hours. We were prepared for this because over the last 2 years, we knew that digital and online and at-home was a big part of creating this diverse fitness offer. And thankfully, we were in a position where within 3 weeks of knowing that it was about to happen at some point, we started to prepare properly. So we switched it on, and as I said earlier on, we retained over 82% of our members as paying members, and the rest went on freeze. That was our biggest priority at the time, and now we're getting back out of that. Our biggest priority now is being able to transition that at-home offer back to an outdoor offer, whilst also maintaining the at-home. So we now know that our customers want both, and it's great. It's I guess it's a one bonus perhaps of coming out through this pandemic is that we've been able to expand our product offer in a very, very short period of time. We've brought in more technology. We've brought in heart rate technology to engage the members more. We've brought in more digital offerings, and we've enhanced our program offer as well. And that key priority now is to transition across to back into the outdoors, whilst also retaining that at-home service.
If I can add to that, Tommy, what you may or may not be aware is that the indoor fitness clubs are going to be allowed to open on the 4th of July, which is great news for the industry. However, when they do open, it's going to be on very restricted rules. They're going to have to maintain 2 metre social distancing. That means every other treadmill, every other cross trainer is going to be out of order. No changing rooms, no group exercise, 1 in, 1 out, 30 people in the building at any one time for small clubs, 50 for larger clubs, queuing outside like you see with the supermarkets. So it's going to be a very unfamiliar experience for indoor fitness clubs. During that time, I think our outdoor offering is going to be all the more important to keep the nation active. There's 9 million members out there that cannot have the same experience that they used to have in their fitness clubs, and we're part of the antidote to that.
Any further questions, guys? We've got a couple of minutes left. Please send them in. And as I said, while we're waiting for those questions, I'll just cover the point that I'm going to be online for the next couple of hours. So by all means, please give me a call, video call. I can answer any detailed questions about our franchise model and fitness franchising in general, talk about the trends and so on. It's something that I've been involved with for many, many years now. So keen to talk to you further. Aidan, no problem. Pleased to answer your questions. My friend is a long-time member of BMF and sings its praises. Well, that's good to hear. We've got so many people who have been members of BMF for so many years. As I said earlier on, people have been members of BMF for 20 years. And it's that heritage, that brand heritage and that brand loyalty.
We should finish on this because of Aidan, actually. We just recently surveyed our members during the lockdown, and we were so thrilled to get a net promoter score of 73. Just to let everybody know, the net promoter score average in the UK is 22. 73 is getting up into Apple territory. So very proud of that.
Great stuff. I've got one. I'm just looking at one. Actually, they've put it in the chat section rather than the questions section. Thanks for the presentation. Potential net earnings, rate of failure. That's from Spaticchia. Apologies, I've got the name incorrect. But the best thing to do actually is to join one of our webinars where we'll go into the net earnings, etc. Look, none of our franchisees have failed yet, so you know, we've got a 0 rate at the moment, and hopefully it'll continue like that. I don't think there's any questions left in the chat panel. So yes, join us on one of our webinars, guys. You can register online at bemilitaryfit.com for that, and one of our team will be in contact with you.
Thanks very much, everybody.
Cheers.